Just left the courtroom for the bond hearing for my son for the release for the third time. This time it was very fair. The judge was very fair. He wasn't pro-prosecutor. He wasn't pro-defense, but he was pro-justice. So he listened to all the evidence and, and he's going to give a ruling in the next few days about what his position is for the bond. But we were very pleased at how it turned out. So continue, family, friends, and fans, continue to keep us in your prayers. And we thank you. And inshallah, God willing, this be victorious for that we have a good ruling in our favor.
In case you missed the buzz, Durk's father spoke out, and his words seemed to have tipped the scales. After 2 failed tries, Durk's third bid for freedom hit the mark. His legal team came prepared, putting forth an offer so compelling that the judge had no choice but to agree to bond terms. The judge took for long days to weigh the decision, but in the end, Lil Durk's request for bond was denied. Ironically, it wasn't a crime that kept him behind bars, but his wealth. According to reports, federal authorities argued that Durk's financial power posed a threat. They claimed the only way he'd qualify for bond was if he gave up everything: his money, his assets, his lifestyle, fearing he could potentially use his fortune to intimidate or target witnesses. Following the denial of Lil Durk's bond, a viral tweet started circulating, stirring up a storm of speculation. It claimed Durk wasn't turned down simply because of his wealth, but because of something far more explosive: a betrayal from within. The tweet alleged that Dee Dee's brother, known as Ted and believed to be one of Durk's closest enforcers, had turned informant. Rather than announcing it publicly, authorities were supposedly keeping the leak under wraps, aiming to blindside Durk's defense team. The person behind the post claimed to have seen sealed evidence files, including newly uncovered body cam footage that painted a troubling picture. In the video, Ted can be seen visibly distressed, reportedly begging to cooperate with police. Picked up at a local store while carrying a firearm, an extended clip in his waistband, he was taken into custody. Before even making it inside the station, tears streaming down his face, he pleaded, "I swear I'll tell you everything about the murders." His desperate attempt to avoid jail may have come too late, but the damage was already done. As a result, Durk's lawyers have filed for more time to respond, possibly reworking their bond strategy in light of these serious developments. As Ted sat inside the holding cell, he completely broke down, tears pouring, desperation in his voice. All he wanted was to escape the cold walls of jail, even if it meant giving up everything he knew about the murders. A nearby officer tried calming him down. "Relax, man. Just talk to me. What's the number 7? We'll see what we can do for you." But Ted was overwhelmed, frantic, barely able to speak, seemingly ready to spill everything if it meant his freedom. The situation got even messier because Ted isn't just any name, he's the younger brother of Dee, a well-known figure close to Durk. So when documents started circulating with their family name tied to a cooperating witness, fans and insiders speculated wildly. Was it Dee? Or maybe Vonnie King Von's cousin, and another key associate? That's when Durk's close friend Bezu took to Instagram Live to clear the air, or at least vent his frustration. Nobody really knows what's going on but the people inside them courtrooms. "Man," he said, "y'all out here playing detectives, running with anything. One minute it's rumors, the next it's Vanny snitchin'. Y'all don't know nothing. That's why I don't get involved in no illegal stuff, 'cause y'all be trying to get people buried under the jail." Then things escalated when DJ Academics joined the conversation, adding more fuel to the fire. He addressed the viral headline that claimed Durk's co-defendant Vanny King Von's cousin had filed for protective custody after turning on Durk. Academics cautioned viewers not to jump to conclusions, even while acknowledging the craziness of it all. When you see Flock post something like that, you almost got to stop and think, like, man, that headline is wild. Lil Durk finding out his own guy filed for PC. It sounds nuts. That's why we do these streams, to break it all down. I try to stay accurate, even if I slip sometimes. I don't speak recklessly. People get it wrong sometimes out of ignorance, sometimes out of pure malice, said DJ Academics during a live stream. That's why we try to dig into the paperwork, break it down, and help folks understand what's really going on. These days, the headline is often more dramatic than the actual story. But in this case, the story behind the headlines might be even more damning than anyone imagined. One overlooked court update shed light on just how much evidence is in play. Over 230 gigabytes of digital data, including audio recordings, surveillance footage, and more than 20,000 pages of investigative reports is currently being processed. And much of it, prosecutors claim, came from someone inside Durk's own circle, Jam. According to federal filings, authorities believe Lil Durk paid to have two people eliminated. Stefan Mack, the man allegedly responsible for killing Durk's brother Dathang and Jam's baby mother, who was reportedly targeted after Durk discovered Jam had been wearing a wire. Jam, prosecutors argue, is the missing puzzle piece, the witness, who could tie Durk to 3 serious crimes. It was during an Instagram live that Durk first noticed something was off. Jam, mid-conversation, subtly reached for the top of his jacket, whispering into it, and that's when suspicion exploded. Fans watching live suspected he was wearing a wire. "Check on your man," one person commented. The tension was thick. But Durk wasn't caught off guard, far from it. In the months before his arrest, he had reportedly grown wary of Jam's behavior. Those close to the case say Durk had already sensed betrayal. "I see expletive from a mile away," Durk later said. "I can talk to somebody for 5 seconds and know they're going to fold." He even began making drastic lifestyle changes, keeping his address private, cutting off access, and sharing little to no information with friends or associates. Behind the scenes, he was playing what some called 3D chess, preparing for betrayal before it ever became public. Still, the sadness in Durk's tone when he later addressed Jam's cooperation made one thing clear: expecting betrayal doesn't make it hurt any less.
No bond for Lil Durk. Let me tell you about what options he has left and why the bond was denied this time. Now, he's in federal court on a murder for hire charge where he faces the possibility of life in prison. What that means is, under the federal law, it is presumed that you do not get a bond because the charge and the penalty are so serious. So your lawyer has to go out there and show why you should get a bond. Now, ultimately, what the district judge decided to deny the bond on was a couple of factors. There's a couple $1 million being put up, but it's not all being put up by Durk. Some of it is from the label, and ultimately Durk has a lot more money and assets than what's being put up. So if I let him out on bond and he tries to flee, he's going to have tons of assets and money at his disposal.
Jam is the same guy Lil Durk once handed $50,000 to during an Instagram live a public moment of loyalty that now feels like bitter irony, considering Jam allegedly turned around and snitched on people who were in the background of that very live. At the time, Durk joked around, telling someone to feed Jam's crying brother, then held up a stack of cash like it was nothing. "You see that, baby? That's how y'all hold y'all babies. I gotta hold my money like this, it's too much," he said, brushing off critics. "Folks out here sneak dissing, playing internet games, man, get your money up. We winning. I can do what I want, when I want. Y'all can't do that." Jam, recently released after serving 12 years, was surrounded by friends, showing off wealth and freedom. The feds took note. They started digging into the people in the background of that video, some of whom were later seen jewelry shopping with King Von. It painted a picture of close affiliation, and two prosecutors, that was enough to build a new murder case against Durk, this time fueled by Jam's cooperation. They even showed the judge an Instagram story that was posted just 30 minutes after Stefan Mack was killed. It was a tribute to Dathang. Then another story popped up the following day, showing Durk laughing. It might seem small, but prosecutors are using every detail to build their case. Still, not all hope is lost. Despite the weight of the evidence and Jam's betrayal, Durk has one final shot at freedom. His legal team has been working to dismantle the prosecution's case, piece by piece, and if successful, it could be the key to securing his release. At this point, prosecutors are starting to realize a hard truth. They may not be able to prove Durk paid anyone to carry out a hit. The supposed link to the bounty is falling apart. As the case weakens, one major blow to the prosecution is their inability to use Durk's lyrics as evidence. His defense attorney, Drew, didn't hold back, calling the charges a joke. He pointed out that for a while, the feds were relying almost entirely on lyrics, but now, even that angle has been dropped. Here's how the case unfolded. Originally, an indictment was filed that didn't name Durk directly. Instead, it included an unnamed individual. Then, just 3 weeks later, a new version of the indictment, known as the first superseding indictment, was issued. The only change? That unnamed person was now officially listed as Durk Banks. But what really stood out was this. The new indictment included just one additional fact, that Durk had allegedly posted a video which prosecutors claimed celebrated and monetized a criminal act. That was it. Nothing else new. Durk's lawyer argued that basing an entire federal case on that thin thread was outrageous. Drew even addressed rumors about whether Durk would consider taking a plea deal, making it crystal clear, "No, we're going all the way." DJ Academics pressed further, suggesting the case was shaping up to be an all-or-nothing scenario, and Drew didn't flinch. "It's clear they're treating this like a binary outcome. Either Durk walks away completely, or he doesn't. There's no in-between." When asked if he'd even consider a plea deal, Durk's criminal defense attorney made his stance absolutely clear. "This is a conspiracy case. It's all or nothing. Durk didn't participate in any conspiracy, and there's no middle ground. If convicted, it's a potential life sentence, so we're taking this to trial." The strategy, bold as it is, hinges on a powerful argument Durk's legal team is holding close: that everything Durk has said publicly, including his lyrics and online statements, falls under his constitutional right to free speech. "There's a First Amendment issue here," the lawyer explained. "Just because he's a rapper, just because the content may reference violence, that doesn't make it criminal. You can find similar themes in country, rock, even R&B. But no one's prosecuting them. The case," he argues, "isn't about actual crimes, it's about artistic expression being misinterpreted as intent." Online, legal analysts and even some fellow lawyers are starting to echo the same point. This might not stick. And Durk could walk, just like Young Thug did, despite facing a racketeering case filled with lyrics and videos used as evidence. Young Thug ultimately served time and walked out after what many called a soft conviction. The prosecution didn't get most of what they wanted, and several co-defendants weren't even convicted. "No one's calling that a success," one analyst said, hinting that Durk's case may be headed for a similar outcome, with lots of noise, but not enough proof to cage him. Just because something is said in a rap song doesn't mean it actually happened. That's the core of Lil Durk's legal defense, and his attorney isn't pulling any punches. "You've got a freedom of speech issue here," the lawyer explained. "If I say something in a song, especially a rap track, that doesn't automatically mean I did it." What makes this situation even more interesting is that the song prosecutors are referencing was actually released months before the alleged incident, a fact that Durk's team believes completely undercuts the charges. The attorney also raised a point that's been echoed in other high-profile cases. Like Young Thug's, that prosecutors often simply don't get hip-hop culture. Sometimes they read rap lyrics like they're confessions, but they're not. "It's a text without context," he said. In the world of hip-hop, words carry layered meanings, shaped by environment, audience, and style. What might sound like a direct statement to someone unfamiliar with the culture could have multiple interpretations within it. Unfortunately, this kind of misunderstanding isn't new. Courts have seen it before. And while prosecutors may struggle with understanding hip-hop's nuances, there's one thing they do know: the industry is interconnected. That's why they recently arrested Brick Baby, someone with known ties to Durk. In fact, prosecutors intentionally delayed Durk's bond hearing to gather more information and tighten those connections.
Nobody is ever allowed to my house. My best friend never been to my house.
For real?
I promise.
Your best friend?
Promise. Like, it's people like that I just don't allow around my girl and my kids, cause it's like I'm just a different type. I'm not the. We're gonna have family night at Durk house tonight. It's the.
Everybody at Durk's crib.
Yeah, we gotta. Everybody getting watched. We gotta watch everybody. Hey, they go too close to them kids. You know what to do. Like, that's how I play. Like, I don't play.
Prosecutors are playing a calculated game, strategically delaying Durk's next bond hearing to bring in what they call last-minute evidence. Rumors have erupted in the courtroom about a new potential informant, and all signs point to the recent arrest of Brick Baby. Just last week, Brick Baby, along with Big U and Loose Cannon, was swept up in a major takedown targeting the Rollins 60s gang. Now, multiple legal sources suggest that Brick Baby could become the Fed's next key witness against Durk. The timing is suspicious. Lawyers are speculating that authorities may pressure Brick Baby into turning over information, especially considering the feds have been building a murder-for-hire case against Durk that dates back 3 years, and Brick Baby might have played a role in lighting that fuse. In an old livestream, Brick Baby once said, "You can't say Durk never slid for Vaughn, they got Lil Pab," implying revenge had already happened. After Durk's arrest, that same livestream resurfaced, with many pointing out that Brick Baby might have unintentionally drawn federal heat toward Durk with his public comments. He even seemed to realize it himself, nervously reacting to his own words and hinting that certain things were better left unsaid. Now due to federal charges involving others like FBG Cash and Lil P, but perhaps more damaging was something else. In another clip, the feds tied Durk's lyrics from the song Wonderful Wayne and Jackie Boy to Brick Baby's own statements. In it, Brick Baby claimed he'd have dropped Quando Rondo's location for Durk if asked, purely out of loyalty. That kind of reckless loyalty might now be turned into federal leverage. And whether Brick Baby meant it as bravado or not, the federal agents aren't just listening, they're building a case, piece by piece. What started as loyalty might now be painted as conspiracy. "What's wrong with giving my friend an address?" Brick Baby asked, defending his intentions. "That's my boy. He lost his boy. The people responsible might be nearby. If he'd asked me, I probably would have cooperated, if that's even what happened." He even teased lyrics that echoed the same sentiment. "If he make the call right now, I upright." It may have sounded like street loyalty at the time, but the feds see something much different, and now Brick Baby is sitting in a cell, facing severe federal charges that could turn his loyalty into testimony against Durk. But here's the twist. The man claiming credit for Brick Baby's arrest isn't a federal agent, it's Charleston White. According to him, Brick Baby crossed the line when he posted a video in Houston, waving money and implying he had a $10,000 bounty on Charleston's head. "Y'all thought I was playing," Charleston said in a live video. "When he acted like he was coming for me, I called in the big guns." White says he immediately filed a report through law enforcement connections, not just in
Another allegation they backed away from, which is huge. It shows the weakening of the case. Previously, the prosecution had alleged that Durk paid the bounty through one of his co-defendants, and they named the co-defendant. Now they've backed off that allegation. They're not actually saying that Durk paid the bounty through the co-defendant or anyone else. And the fact that they're not saying that suggests that previously they thought they were going to be able to prove that he paid the bounty through this guy, and now they know we're not going to be able to prove that he paid the bounty through this guy.
Houston, but also with the feds in Los Angeles and LA County. What might have seemed like internet beef now looks like the spark that lit a federal fire. "Police, I swear to God," were Charleston White's words as he claimed credit for tipping off law enforcement, and his disdain for Durk runs deep. When news broke that Durk was arrested, Charleston celebrated publicly, calling it a victory. In his eyes, Durk represented a dark energy. "I think we finally put that fire out," he said. "Drill music is done. This is a win for law-abiding Americans who love hip-hop but hate the killing." Just as things seemed to settle and Durk's potential release from jail neared, new drama exploded, not from court, but from home. Durk's fiancée, India Royale, was accused of cheating. A video went viral, showing her at a party, her hand resting on another man's leg. The footage, leaked by a friend, caused massive speculation online. India clapped back the next morning, mocking internet gossipers. "Do y'all remember when men used to lay concrete, change tires, go to war? Now y'all gossiping like, what's happening?" The moment went so viral that even 6ix9ine and DJ Academics weighed in. On livestream, Awk defended her, saying, "She's a good girl. I've never heard anything about her, ever." 6ix9ine pushed back, hinting that in rap circles, loyalty is rare and everyone's dirt eventually comes to light. Whether India stays loyal through the trial is now the real question, and now, all eyes are on social media. You never really know how things will unfold. I mean, think about it, what happens if someone ends up with a life sentence? Again, I'm not hoping for that to happen, but still, how does that impact everything? Especially when it comes to your girl. Wasn't she supposed to be loyal, even legendary? Funny how quickly things shift when reality hits.